Hey everybody, welcome back to Cumberlachia. This is my paradise. For those of you that are new to the channel, we are in the Cumberlachia Mountains in northeast Tennessee. We have about 7 acres up here, and since we're in the Appalachian Mountains, which is the Cumberlachia Mountains are part of the Appalachian Mountains, we combined the two and we named our land Cumberlachia. So for those of you that have been here before, you haven't seen my garden except in pictures. My garden's behind me. Over to the right is where we did our first video. There's a little roundabout there. That's over to your left. And over to your right is our workshop that we built, that you guys watched us build. So the garden is right here in the middle. Over here to your left a little bit, my right, is going to be the chicken coop, our cabin, and probably in about a week or so, our camper is going to be up here, and we're actually going to finally be living on our land. We've been staying off the land because we didn't have the ability to stay here didn't have our solar electric done and the sewer and water things done. So we're almost at that point that we're going to be living up here. I've got since the last time I talked to you, I got 3 IBC totes over here. Our stream or creek is behind you guys, about 350 to 400 feet down at a slope, and I think it's about an 80-foot incline. So coming up, so I've been walking up and down that thing all last week and the week before trying to get water pumped up here. We now have 3 275-gallon IBC totes. So they're totally full of water. So I think my math gives me 825 gallons. And that water is just for the garden, the chickens, and possibly the goat and whatever other critters we get up here soon. Because as soon as we get up here living, animals are coming. So we are finally able to do things up here on the land, actually homesteading. So today I thought before I get working, I'd make breakfast. But first, I do need some herbs, because instead of a bunch of little jars here, I've got a couple of little garlic and things like that, but I got some herbs growing in the garden. So I'll give you a quick little garden tour, and then we'll get some herbs and we'll get started. So first, as you come into the garden, I have 2 raised beds that are probably about 2 feet tall. And I just did some spring things in here. I got some lettuces over here. I got some peas. These peas are just regular Lincoln peas. I don't know why they're just not growing that quick. But over here on the other side, I've got my purple peas, and they have taken off. They're about a month old, and they're really going up the vine here. Underneath, I got some radishes. We're going to grab some of these radish greens. We're going to use those in the meal this morning, the breakfast. I got carrots here. These are black nebula carrots, which are purple, and I got some orange carrots here. Sorry, things are kind of flattened down. We just watered, and it hasn't grown back yet, stood back up yet. I've also got some spider webs is what I got over here. I got some beets growing over here. I'm not a big beet fan, but I like to take the beets and pickle beet eggs and pickle beet juice. So I'm growing that for those. And as you come into the garden, on the right, I've got my workbench. And this is going to be covered here real soon today because I got a lot of work to do. I still got, believe it or not, I haven't planted my lima beans, and I got some holy basil here that I want to get planted. I do have my lavender tree back here and a bunch of lavender growing over here. This has been the best free fertilizing I could find. Starbucks, every time I go there, and you all know I love my Starbucks, they've been saving bags of this stuff, coffee grounds for me. And I got that this morning, so I got to spread it out on some more things. But over here, my green stalks. This green stalk back here is mainly strawberries, and sorry there's no berries on it for you guys to look at because that are ripe. Here's one that's not ripe. I was plucking them yesterday and eating them. But I got some, some lavender down in the bottom. This is mainly just strawberries, lavender, and then the rest is just flowers, and that I wanted to, make it kind of pretty. Over here in this short one, I don't have the last top on here yet because I haven't got the seeds planted yet, but they are 5-tier. I've got basil in here. I've got some mint. I've got chocolate mint over here to the left. Down at the bottom, I got some thyme, which we're going to grab some of that. Back here in the back, I've got some Thai basil, and I think we're going to use that today, so I'm going to get a little bit of this Thai basil to put in. And I just trimmed all this stuff last weekend. It was so thick that I've got it actually drying in a drying rack over there. Up here I've got some small basil planted. It's just coming up from seed. And these 2 back here are lavender, and I think I got one more basil over there. So I'm not going to use any basil in this dish, But I'm going to grab some oregano back here, put some fresh oregano in it, and then I'll sneak over here to the other side. And I think we're going to get some parsley. I dropped some of my oregano. Get some parsley here. You know how nice this is coming out here and just getting this fresh and not using dried from the store. And we're going to get some thyme. So let me get a bunch of thyme here. I'll hold on to this and I'll show you the rest of the garden. I just want to get those while we're here. These are the grow bags with the potatoes that I'll link the video down below when I was putting these together. Now this one's not a potato. This is the black cherry tomatoes. So I got some tomatoes on down here. Got 3 more back here. And what I've been doing is going through, and I don't know if you guys know it, tomatoes and peppers are self-pollinating. So you don't have to have beans. That's why you can see a lot of people will grow tomatoes in a greenhouse and it's closed. They don't have to worry about the pollinators getting in. So anytime I go by and I see a bloom, which all the blooms are already turned into tomatoes here, I just tap on it and it self-pollinates. It's got both parts, the male and female part in there, and it self-pollinates. So anytime you're in your garden, you see yellow blooms, just tap on them, it'll self-pollinate them. These are my potatoes. Literally, I'm 5'7", 5'8". They're in the grow bags from here, so I'd say this is a good 1.5 feet, almost 2 foot tall. And I've got the white potatoes, red potatoes, and purple potatoes. I have 3 more back here. And as you recall, I started way down here with the dirt, and as they grew, I just kept adding more dirt, more dirt, more dirt, and I'm already to the top. So now, just keep them watered, and we're going to have some baby potatoes here soon. These are my sweet potatoes, and one of you all sent these sheets to me. They're doing good. They're just now starting to take off. So I'm going to have sweet potatoes in these, and the rest are just regular potatoes. This is just amazing to me. Today is Saturday. Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before is when I planted these. I planted them on Sunday 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And the next week I came up, they were already out of the ground, about 3 or 4 inches tall. This is not even 2 weeks old yet. This is 13 days old. And some of these are, I mean, I couldn't believe I just watched them as I put the twine on there last Saturday. Some were below the twine. By the end of the day, they were above it. They're just growing like crazy. In here, I got cranberry beans. They're kind of like a pinto bean. I like them. I love pinto beans. They're my favorite. But these cranberry beans make a better, I think, a thicker, soupy taste to it. These section right here they're called 1,500-year-old cave beans that they found in a cave. And I got them from, I think it was Baker Creek. And I'll put a link down below. These are the first ones that came up. They came up immediately, like within 5-6 days. And I can't wait to see how those turn out. I've got some birds in here fertilizing. From here, all the way back to here is my pinto beans, because I got to have my cornbread and pinto beans. That's what I grew up on. I have some of my mama's pinto beans. I'm going to find out a way, and there is a way that people say you can get them to go ahead and sprout even though they're old. And they're probably about 30 years old, 20, 30 years old. I'm going to find a way because I want some of her pinto beans that she grew. But these are all my pinto beans. And then back here are greasy beans. And they call them greasy beans because regular green beans have like a little fuzz on the outside. These are totally smooth. They look shiny, so they kind of look greasy. And they're really good. So I got my greasy beans back here. To the left, and I apologize, I got to weed this bed. These are my Swiss chard, and I've got sweet Georgia onions over here, which are starting to finally take off. So I've just got 3 rows of the Swiss chard here. The rest of this is little weeds that I'm going to be getting in here today and pulling and get all that cleaned up because it's been a week since I was up here, and I got to get that all fixed. In the back, I've just got Tabasco pepper up here, and this one with some petunias just for some color. I got a little fountain here that the birds like, and the hummingbirds and the bees. It is solar, no electric, and you can see it's trying every so often to spurt a little bit. It doesn't have any sun on it right now. But when the sun's shining on it, it's a nice little fountain. And I've seen the birds in here and the cardinals in here drinking on it, and the bees are on there. This is my pepper patch. I've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 different kinds of peppers in here. I got red bell peppers over here, green bell peppers back there. This is a purple pepper. This is a gypsy sweet pepper. On that side, I only have 1 jalapeno this year, and then I got 3 of the banana peppers. And if you think this is tall weeds back here, this is actually popcorn. It's glass corn. It's very colorful. I'll put a picture right up here in the corner so you can see what it looks like. I've got a row of it to the back here, and I got a row back over here in the other bed. And in front of that corn, I have just one row of collards, and then I just put some flowers. I forget what kind of flowers I planted in here, but I've got those in there. So the collards are just starting to come up, and as you can see, my corn is doing really good. Have a bunch of starts back here, different tomato plants, because I want to have tomatoes throughout the season, and if they're determinate and they stop, I want to have more determinate that's going to be coming on at the same time. So I have those. More marigolds, because I've been planting marigolds around all the plants. It deters deer, some pests, and raccoons. Deer are not going to get in here. We got the fence up 6 feet high, and then I've got some flags around the top, which kind of confuses the deer because they can literally drop 5 to 6 feet standing still over it. So putting these around the top, and I got this idea from Jason over at Cog Hill Farm. I've been watching him and Brooke for years, and probably 2-3 years now. And that's what they did on their first farm, and it kept all the deer out. So if it's good enough for Jason and Brooke, it's good enough for me. So those are around there. Have had nothing in here, no animals. I got some more sunflowers growing back here, marigolds. These are also sunflowers. This one is just the orange striped tomato. I'll put a link to all of them down below so you can see where I got them from. And I think they're all Baker Creek that I got them. I'm not sure. If I apologize if it's not, I'll put the link down below. And then these up here, these 4 are my Cherokee Purple. I love Cherokee Purple. I'm going to be bringing me a loaf of bread, some mayonnaise, and salt and pepper, and I'm just going to be eating these like crazy. So these I just had to stake up this week. When I got here this morning, they started falling over. When I was here last week, they were about this tall, and this one just shot up. This one's starting to. But as you can see, they're already getting little yellow blooms on them. So I'm just walking around tapping the blooms because I want nice bunches of tomatoes. Over here, these are called sausage tomatoes. I found a gentleman at the farmer's market here. When we were going through there one morning, they just had a farmer's market. And these are kind of like a paste tomato, he said, like a Roma tomato. And these things have gone crazy. I have staked them up 3 or 4 times. I literally went and got some heavier twine, and I'm going to put another board across the top or stick, and I'm going to use that to get them up because they're getting really heavy. They got lots of blooms on it. I just noticed over there, I just thought I saw a tomato somewhere. I missed it. But there's bloom. Oh, here it is. Got one baby tomato right here. I knew I saw him. But lots of blooms. So we got 8 of these. No, yeah, 8 of these plants. And they're just going crazy. So I'm going to be making a lot of tomato sauce, tomato paste out of this, and putting a lot of this up when I'm canning. I mean, these things are just going crazy. Not to make you jealous, Mom, but these are my tomatoes. She just started putting hers in this week. So every time I tell her about my garden, she just tells me to shut up. Over here to your left, we kind of made a little. I could have used canes, from the store. Or from Home Depot. I could have used 1x2s. But I got all these tree limbs everywhere in here and vines. And I thought this was kind of cool. I put it together, something I think my great-grandma and great-great-grandma would have done. And I've got 4 cucumber vines that are starting. One's already got blooms down here in this corner. And they're just going to start vining over here, growing up over there, keep the cucumbers all together. Because over on this side, I've got a squash plant. In the back, I got a watermelon plant. And over there, I've got a cantaloupe plant. So I literally thought I was going to start with 3 beds, and I've got 7 raised beds. Well, not really 7. I've got 8.5 because this one in the middle with my beans, that was a last minute thought. I realized I started cooking. I started planting. I didn't even have my beans when I was done. So we had to come up with another planter there, and it works perfectly right down the center. So I'm going to be trellising them up. I've got to put some more twine on through there so they'll grow up through there. So soon enough, I'm going to be picking things in here. So let's get back to cooking breakfast because I am hungry, and we'll get back out here. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to get this lid over here, and I'm going to turn on the gas. If you guys recall the last time I was cooking up here, we had a little fire craziness. It started leaking in the back. I'm hoping it's not going to do that today. And close my door up here. Do this on low, because this cast iron is going to get hot really fast. We're going to use this one up here in the front. This Dutch oven we're going to use later today. I'm going to make another dish up here, and that'll be in the next video that y'all get to watch. So I'm just going to get this heated up. First I want to cut up some bacon, and I'm just throwing this together. This is no special recipe. I just had a bunch of stuff that I said I need to get rid of, and I'm going to bring up here, and I'm going to make breakfast. So I'm going to use like maybe 6 strips of bacon, and the bacon was frozen. It's thawed out now, but I love these rags. I get these, everything I get it, these I get at Rural King in bags. I use them for cooking, and I got a bag over there that I use for just when I'm out working on the land, mainly sweat rags. But I'm just going to chop this or slice the bacon up. Oh my gosh, this is my Kuma knife that I showed you guys in a video or 2 back. I love this thing. That crazy little knife that me and Mom bought and had up here using that we bought at the grocery store. It has been retired. And then when I say retired, I mean thrown in the trash. This stuff this goes through things like butter. So I want to get this bacon started, get it rendering down. Ooh, I love the sound of that. Hot cast iron. Oops. Okay, well that one's not going in the pot. And this is going to go together really quick. Just going to get that bacon rendered down. And my onions, as I showed you, are not ready yet. So I did buy an onion. And I'm only going to use half of it because I'm going to use the other half in the dish I'm making later today once I get done working, if I'm not too tired. All these scraps going right over here because they're going in the compost bin back there. I'm building up a great compost bin, which it's not going to be ready till probably next year's garden. But by then I can redo my raised beds, get all that in there. It's going to be some beautiful dirt. Not that what we don't have up here, and I think that's why they're going so fast, my plants. This is mountain soil. This stuff has been here for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. And all these leaves in these trees been falling down on it. The birds have been fertilizing it, the other animals. And this stuff's just so dark and black. It's like topsoil you'd go buy at the store when I lived in Florida and Ohio. It's beautiful, and the plants are loving it. I'm literally not even fertilizing. All I'm doing is just planting. And I want to see how they do this year. So let's get this onion together. And there's my Ann Burrell finger I told you about. She'd be marking me up with a marker right now. Okay, bee. Got bees all over up here, which is good for my plants. So I'm just going to use this half onion and put this other one over here to the side. We're going to use that in tonight's dish. Put my knife here so it doesn't get messed up. Let's get this onion in here. There we go. And I'm not going to salt this because that bacon's already got enough salt on it. But the fat is rendering down nicely. And there goes an onion on the ground. Well, the critters are going to get that tonight. But I am going to put a little bit, unfortunately, I have to put some garlic in here. I went out walking and I looked and looked and looked. I think the wild garlic is done growing for the season. So I'm sure it's underground still growing, but I could not find any tops. So I'm going to have to cheat, and you know I like my garlic. So luckily I bought this and had it on hand to bring up here, and I can't get it open. There we go. I'm just going to put a little bit of garlic in there, a little bit of the juice. There we go. And I'm going to put the recipe down below. Like I said, I just went and got some of these herbs that I didn't think I was going to be putting in, and I decided to put in. So I'm changing it up a little bit, which is a good thing. We should change everything up a while. Now, one thing I did not get, and I only have to walk right here, is I want some radish greens. And I'm going to go through here and just find some that some of the little critters haven't taken a few bites of. And I'm going to use this just like spinach or any other green. It's going to get a nice little bite to the dish. And they're just as good as eating the actual radishes themselves. And I'm going to use everything I can off the land. So let me give them a little chop. Actually, let me roll it up. It might be a little bit better. There we go. Lots better. Put that aside. There's our radishes. And then what did we get here? We got some parsley. I'm going to save the parsley to decorate the top because you all know I like to decorate the food. So we're going to save the parsley, but I got Thai basil here. And I'm just going to strip off some of those leaves. We're going to use that. The stem's a little woody, so I'm not going to use it. But all those little scraps are going in the compost, so I'm going to use it all. Thai basil just got a little bit of spice to it. It's like regular basil, but it smells good. I love walking through the garden and just taking my hands over all the herbs as I walk through. Smells good. I got mint in there. I've got chocolate mint. I've got lemon balm. I got bacon cooking. It smells wonderful up here today. I hear you up there. I have 2 bird feeders. Well, let me rephrase that. I had 2 bird feeders. And these birds, I've been feeding them every time I come up here. Yeah, I hear you. I'm going to get it. But they yell at me to come and feed them. Unfortunately, those 2 bird feeders I had, and I caught him, a little squirrel. The lure goes up and chews the rope. It falls to the ground, and they tear it up and eat all the seed. I had one hanging so he couldn't get it. He somehow jumped on it and chewed up the bottom of it. All the seed came out. The birds are upset. Now, I did go to Rural King, like I told you, and got some of these other things, these plants, and I got some other stuff over here. But I got 2 new bird feeders, and I will fill them up for you. I should have done that before I started. But we have probably 5 or 6 sets of cardinals up here. Now, this is my oregano I'm stripping. But we have, I can sit here and just watch the cardinals come out like crazy. I love cardinals. They've always been one of my favorite birds. And they just come all the time right up here and waiting for me to feed them. And it's funny because I'll be working and I look up and I got birds above me just screaming their heads off. And I'm like, oh, feeder's empty. Time to go feed them again. Those little critters are expensive. They're going to get really upset when I'm having to feed the chickens and not them. But I like to have the birds up here. They're helping get rid of all the bugs. Okay, so that was the oregano. Now we'll strip down some of this thyme. Get it all done. And like I said, I've already taken three clippings, and I have it in my hair dryer over there. It's a net dryer that actually I saw, I think last summer or summer before last. Miss Lori over at Whippoorwill Holler, she had one that she was using in her greenhouse. And my greenhouse isn't built yet, so we're letting it air outside and dry those herbs down so I can save them. Okay, now the thyme finished. Between the thyme and the oregano is all the time. Okay. I think I got a couple little stems in there, ain't going to matter. So let's just get this all combined. And if you see some little purple in there, it's not dirt. That's the bloom on the Thai basil. Yeah, I don't know what that little dirt is. We'll take him out. A little bit of dirt's not going to hurt us. Believe me, I'm going to be out here grabbing a tomato off the vine and eating it straight off the vine. I don't wash them. Just like my grandma and grandpa used to do. All right. So this crisping up good. That bacon looks good in there. So now I've got 1 pound of potatoes, and I cheated. My potatoes aren't grown yet. They're just starting. So I got frozen potatoes. And I got a 2-pound bag. I just took a pound out and put in here this morning to bring up here. I'm not even going to drain that fat out. There's a little bit of bacon fat because I want these potatoes to cook in that fat. Let's get those down in there a little bit. Okay, I have 1 can of my diced green chilies. You guys know I love these things. I put it in everything. They're great. They're not spicy. They're mild pepper. And until those come on back there, I'm going to have to use what I can use. Where's my hot pad? I'm going to burn my fingers up here at Cumberlachia. Get this turned around. Woo! That sounds like me trying to stand up in the morning. I'm going to turn this heat up a little bit. Try not to use a lot because I'm not sure how much propane I have left in this tank. I got to switch them out. Whoa, that stuff smells good. Now these potatoes were already cooked. They're frozen potatoes, so they were already cooked. So they're just a little bit, call them al dente. So they're not going to take too long to cook down. I'm loving these Lodge pans. This one I just got this one the other day. I had to go down to near Gatlinburg and I went through Pigeon Forge and stopped at the Lodge store there. I like stopping at the Lodge store every time I go and get some kind of new pan. And this one I've had, you guys have seen this one, but this one's brand new. I just took the stickers off of it. It hasn't been seasoned by me. It's pre-seasoned by Lodge, but I'll be cooking some more bacon, some more fat in there to season it up a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there now since I added the potatoes. And some onion powder. Even though I put onion in there, I still like to put onion powder in. And this onion powder, you guys know onion powder just cakes up like crazy. Put some onion powder in there. Even though I put garlic in, I am going to put some more garlic powder. And a little bit of ground pepper. Ground mustard, not ground pepper, ground mustard. Then we'll mix that all around. So find my hot pad. All right, this is all cooked down really well, and there goes the tater. I'm going to turn this down on low. And I'm going to grab me my bowl over here. Call it my bowl, it's my mug. But we're going to just get these eggs ready to go in here because these potatoes are already soft. Bacon's done. So let's get, I got 6 eggs in here. I took the rest out and put in the refrigerator because I didn't need a whole dozen up here. So we'll put these in soon enough. You guys will see me walking off camera, walking over there and getting eggs out of the chicken coop. And get rid of these, I ain't gonna say nasty because they say farm fresh, but these store-bought eggs, these yolks are not, they're just kind of yellow. I can't wait to get the orange and beautiful fresh eggs from our chickens. Let's just get this all mixed up pretty good. Like I said, just 6 eggs, pound of potatoes, and you can use hash browns, you can use your own potatoes. If you use fresh potatoes, at least parboil them, or you're going to be cooking all day long. Okay, so there's our eggs. We'll pour those right over the top of the potatoes. I'm going to get our herbs that we've cooked, or cut, can't even talk today, that we cut. At least the ones that aren't sticking to the board. And I'm going to give that a stir. So I can grab my hot pad again. So I want to get the eggs down in there and get them all coating the potatoes. So it's more like a casserole. It's going to come out. While this is cooking, I'm going to turn on this burner over here. And I'm going to heat up this, because I would normally put this in the oven, but there's no oven out here. So I'm just stirring these around, get the eggs all cooked in. Okay, I got that mixed up pretty well. I got this heating up. Once I feel some heat coming off of this pan, which I should shortly. Yeah, there it is, heating up real good. This pan I can actually turn as low as it'll go. Actually, I'm just going to turn it off because this cast iron's hot. It's retaining the heat. Okay, so now I'm going to add cheese. I'm just going to put it right across the top. Cover this all in cheese. Never can have too much of that. Get everything down in there. Then I'm going to put the hot back on top, turn this off. Okay, now, since this is hot, this is going to actually cook it from the top. The cast iron that it's in is cooking it all around and at the bottom. I'm just going to have to let this sit here for about 10 minutes. Everything's going to be cooked and we're going to eat. So I'll be back in about 10. Okay guys, we're back. I'm going to get this off of the burner. Lift this up. Let's open this up and see what it looks like. Ooh, look at that. That looks beautiful. The cheese is all melted. Actually, I'm going to keep the glove on and tip this over so you can see. Look at the sun coming down on that. Isn't that pretty? We're going to make it even more pretty. Remember, I got this parsley that I just took out of the garden. And I'm just going to give it a rough chop. We're just going to put that on there. I don't need the big stems. Get rid of them. There we go. Another one. Instead of that dry parsley that you guys see me put on all the time, from now on it's fresh parsley all the way. Add some flavor to it. Parsley does have some good flavor, but then also just makes it look pretty. And we're out in the woods, so we want it to look nice. Let me set this aside. I'm going to get my plate over here. And I'm going to do my favorite part, is eat. Let me get some out of the... Ooh, that cheese is nice. Whoops, look at all that cheese on there. Nice and hot. Got some bacon, cheese, potatoes all in this bite. That looks nice. I don't know what could be better. I'm up at Cumberlachia in my paradise. I'm eating breakfast that I just made. A lot of it from right out of that garden. Some of it's going to be out of that garden real soon. This is delicious. Y'all have to give this a try. I will put the recipe down below, as I always do in the description. And I'll put it on my website, gregs-kitchen.com. So there will be a link there. Also link to any of the things I told you about, the plants and tomatoes and stuff in there. So if you guys want to try them, it's probably a little too late to get the seeds now. But hey, get the seeds now. You can use them next year. They will last. But give this one a try. Thank you for joining me up here in Cumberlachia. I have so much work to get done today. I heard a little bird whisper in my ear that my mom might be coming up here in a couple of weeks. So got a lot of things to do. So until next time, y'all take care. God bless and love you. Bye-bye.